WDHA's Reconnect with Rockers. I am a fangirl. I'm like, somebody needs to, I'm a fangirl in two ways, major fan, and somebody needs to fan me because I'm with John Waite, who to me is, I got to tell you, there is no one who delivers a song like John Waite. When I talk about being an iconic vocalist, you can be a great vocalist. I think you can be a great writer, but there's something about being the deliverer of a song. And that is how your music has impacted me. Look at me. I'm wearing my baby shirt. Where are you?
I know.
You are right in that corner
Wow.
there.
Yeah, I'm certainly got the right place there. Yeah.
Yeah. You do have you right under my heart. So there is something about the delivery of a John Waite song that I don't think anyone can touch. So I want to talk all about Wooden Heart, the acoustic anthologies, volumes 1, 2 through 3. But I want to rewind and I want to talk about the art school kid from Lancaster. When does
Yeah.
that kid know that he can vocalize and that he can write songs?
I always did. The idea of being in a band and actually making it was just like in the stratosphere. It was so far away. My cousin Michael went to art school, and a lot of the musicians, there's only a couple actually, but anybody that was creative went to art school, even if it was just for a year. I went for 4 years, got a diploma, but in the middle of all that, I put a band together and started playing art school dances, and I liked it. And music really ruled my life, but painting did too. But I always sang. I always knew I could sing. I come from a musical family, but as soon as I joined a band, I kind of knew where I was going. With art, you don't. It's like you might get out of art school and get a job, and you might not too. A lot of people I knew that left art school ended up digging ditches. And I wasn't thinking about money. I was just thinking about art. I mean, I wasn't going to be going anywhere at all as a painter or whatever it is that you become. But I could sing and write songs, and I was in this band that I loved. And that was it. It was a fork in the road, the road less traveled. It was like gone. And I didn't look back.
And then, of course, the Babies.
Yeah.
The Babies, the most underrated song-driven band of all time. I always tell
My
people,
God.
Well,
yeah.
Well, the 70s, for me, were bands like the Babies. I always tell people, get Anthology, get Broken Heart, because there was something so special about that band. Not only a band of substance because the songs were so great, but a very stylized band. You guys looked like rock stars, always. Always, always, always.
We looked like that when we hadn't got a record deal. I mean,
amazing.
You used to get clothes from what we called Oxfam, which is like your goodwill. I would get those sort of clothes, and my girlfriend would retail them. That happened in art school too. And you'd buy jeans, and your girlfriend would take them in. You'd find a pair of cricket boots in a secondhand store, and that would be great too. But it was all made out of poverty, really, and getting your ear pierced. When you were, back then, only gypsies had the real shit. Really.
It was town gypsies. Right.
I remember I was just thinking last night, I had a skull ring when I was 14.
Wow.
It was just, my girlfriend saw it at a horse fair, and a gypsy had and so she got me brass skull. It was all the aesthetic maybe of looking ragamuffin, kind of like, Dickensian, whatever, but it was all made out of nothing. And then when we came to America, I bumped into a tailor that used to work in London, Glenn Palmer, and he started making me all these really great suits. So if there was a style, it was a natural style. I mean, British guys like to dress well. And, you look at Bob Dylan, or you look, I mean, it's just part of, I like clothes, the express.
Yeah. And it was for me, it was like English meets California, because there was still that kind of real easy, floaty sound in some of the music. It was so unique. It was rock, it was pop, it was soul. It was infused with orchestral, arrangements. And it was different, I think, as a kid, for me, than anything I ever heard on the radio before. You had the Babettes, you had these women in the
Yeah.
background, and they were just literally putting the sprinkles, on the painting, on the song, and it was just so unique. When you look back at it now, did you realize now how unique it was when you were doing it?
I didn't have time to really realize anything. I mean, I got thrown into the deep end. It was like I was now going to be a singer, and I was now going to be a songwriter. And I knew what was happening. I knew what a big deal it was to be bankrolled and touring the world. The other guys might not have realized, but I took it incredibly seriously. You know, I mean, a lot of those ideas were from the bands that I idolized. You know, I mean, you look at Humble Pie, Steve Marriott, they had the Blackberries, and so when it came to Isn't It Time, the natural thing was to follow that road, you know. But
Yeah.
it was all very organic. I didn't look at other bands for direction. I'd come from a history of blues and country and folk. It was all authentic roots. So when it became into a rock, I mean, to put the Babettes in there wasn't a popular choice, but it was the only choice. And it rang a bell with a lot of people. And, you know, I mean, I just did what I did. I mean,
Yeah.
I was a force of nature, really. I mean, nobody really had a clue but me. I knew what would work. And I wrote the songs, really. You know, I mean, it was like start playing it, they'd all join in.
Yeah.
But nobody came in with a song and said, hey, it was me. So, but I just did the best I could with what was in front of me. But it was a success. You know, Ron Nevison produced it, thank God. And he had faith in us.
And he
And I,
understood it. He understood it. He
yeah, he
understood the
understood me.
sound of that band. That band had such a distinct sound. And when you talk to people now, like if I'm on social media and I have my baby shirt on, and I'll have a bunch of different rock stars that jump on board, loving it and being like, oh my God, one of the most underrated bands of all time, So,
Yeah,
the impact of that band and the record company, was very behind it. And then just a
yeah,
series of different things happened, where the
yeah,
band broke up. But you were always that guy that was sort of setting the trends and never got the credit for it. Like, of course, then you go solo and Ignition comes out, and you're the guy that I'm seeing now the most on MTV. Now, the funny thing is, and I told you a little bit off Zoom, you were the first rock star that I ever met. And I think it was during the Ignition time. Now, I don't remember what concert I was at, but I was at the Brendan Byrne Arena, and you were in the concession area, and me being a John Waite fanatic at the time, going, it's John Waite. Do I go over? I'm like 14. I'm like in, junior high, high school, 15.
oh,
I
really?
come over to you. You're wearing this great, like green. It almost looks Sergeant Pepper-esque. You were all decked out. You looked amazing. And I told you how much your music meant to me, and I'll never forget it. And if you were douchey to me, I would tell you, but you were not. You were so amazing. And you said to me, thank you so much. Whatever, that means a lot to me. And you gave me a hug. And it was a life-changing moment for me
Oh, wow.
because,
Wow.
it was absolutely a life-changing moment for me. I never forgot it. And it was one of
Wow.
those moments where you sort of say to yourself, you know what? I want to be a part of what he's being a part of. I want to be a part of music. And so I never forgot that. You were the first musician I loved that I ever met. So thank you for that.
I am extremely touched. I mean, I'm so glad that I could be part of it. And that's just very sweet. Yeah, it's just incredibly sweet. I
Yeah,
mean,
and talk to me about MTV. You were the person that we saw on MTV, and the video is just so brilliant for change because those songs, again, when John Waite sings a song, he delivers them.
yeah,
That was a Holly Knight song,
it was, yeah.
but that song was yours. I mean, she had recorded it with her band, and it really never went anywhere. They give it to John Waite, and boom. And I still listen to that song, and I hear that longing and that sadness, and I feel like that girl who's on the ledge there. Talk to me about when you first heard that song. What made you know that that would be a song that you wanted to debut your solo career with?
Well, actually, I'd been working with Ivan Kroll. Ivan Kroll from Patti Smith's band and Iggy Pop. And he was European. He was from Czechoslovakia. We used to call him the Bad Czech. And lovely guy. He's passed now, but lovely guy. And we'd written this album, and I was living in this crash pad on 72nd Street, opposite the Dakota. And John Lennon had been assassinated about 6 months before, so it was very doomy. And New York was new to me. But as the record got closer to starting, people were trying to send me all sorts of songs and saying, this is a really great song, you know. And one day that song came in a cassette, and I listened to it, and I thought, it sounds like the Babies, you know, that sounds like somewhere the Babies would go to if they were still together. And I love the idea of the transitional thing, you know, like I'd moved to New York. I've been working with Chris Spedding and Buster Jones, some really hardcore New York musicians in a hardcore New York. It wasn't like it is now. It was
Yeah,
tough.
yeah, yep.
It was great too, you know,
Yep.
Webster Hall, CBGB's, the whole thing, the Mud Club. And I heard it and I thought, well, I could do something with that. You know, that's really something. I've been writing all these songs with Ivan. I thought we had it. When I heard that, I thought if I altered it a little bit, I wrote a verse for it and I changed the melody a bit and I made it my own in a big way, really. But it was like writing something with somebody. I took it in the studio and it worked. But I knew it was a great song. You know, I mean, it's like as a songwriter, I knew it was a great song. And I'm a producer too. So I knew what you need to have a hit record. And me and Ivan we were actually right on the beam, me and Ivan. We were making big strides forward. We were very good together. But change really was the right thing.
Yeah. And then you see yourself on MTV all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, and
that
that's crazy because that video was on so much.
I
And it
know.
was one of those early videos, you know, and Ignition, ironically, I remember seeing you, Pat Benatar, and Neil produced, you know, Ignition, and you guys are all friends. It's like this weird,
Yeah,
everything kind of comes full circle kind of thing. What was it
yeah,
like for you then, all of a sudden turning on the television set and seeing yourself, you know, 10 times a day on this
yeah.
new music television thing?
Yeah, no, well, you know, I was still living on 72nd Street. I had a little black and white TV somebody had lent me, had a mattress on the floor. And yeah, I was really living in poverty. And I'd come back from LA, we'd cut the video, obviously. I was hanging out with all the people from MTV. We'd become friends, Nina Blackwood, JJ Jackson. They were wonderful people. They were all hanging out drinking tequila at night. It was
Oh,
fantastic.
beautiful.
It was fantastic. And I remember sitting on the edge of the mattress with this TV, like in the studio. It was terrible, but it was fun, you know. And little black and white TV, and me coming on and going like, yeah, you know. And the record company was kind of lost interest in me or whatever. And I did some dates to promote it, but they weren't that interested. And MTV, meanwhile, were playing it like 8 times a day.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
go out and buy, you know, cat food. It was like, what the? But you know, like, it's either the Jetsons or it's, you know,
That's
John
great.
Waite. You know, it was fantastic. But they saved my ass. I mean, the fact that Chrysalis just didn't get me is just, it doesn't matter. MTV played the video so much that I think when I finally just said,
Yeah.
bollocks, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going back to England. That saved my ass. It made me into a kind of star,
Yeah.
and it was worldwide and certainly world America. So that when I came back and I got off Chrysalis, people were still interested. I think without MTV, I would have floundered and it would have been over.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, Missing You.
Yeah.
And then that,
Wow.
and you know, the legend is, the lore is that song was really inspired by, because I said, oh gosh, you know, imagine someone writing a song like this about you. And again, one of those songs that I still hear and remember exactly where I was the first time I heard it.
Yeah.
But the lore is that song had many women who influenced the feeling of that song, multiple,
Yeah.
maybe 1, 2, 3, because I would imagine to get that much emotion, it could have been more than one person. So there were
Yeah.
things going on in your life when
Yeah.
you wrote that song
Yeah.
that were sort of the layers of what became Missing You.
That's a very clever way of putting it. I saw what you did there. And that was
I need the info. I need the
Yeah,
true
yeah, yeah.
info here.
Look, coming right up. Well, Nina Blackwood, I was friends with Nina Blackwood, very close friends. We were really tight, and she was a lovely girl. And I was seeing a girl called Patty Forbes from Boston who lived in New York. We wound up getting engaged about a year later, me and Patty. And what else? And my marriage was in a mess. I mean, it was really in a mess. and I wasn't home. I'd go home for a week and come straight back. It was it was kind of, it's really just weird, sad stuff, And so I was writing the song really about these three separate women that I knew. How's that for, a
Yeah,
love
yeah,
song that's
yeah.
coming from a different angle? But
I can understand that. I mean, that song is definitely, well, it's drenched in angst. There's
yeah,
an angst to that song that
well,
every
it's
time I hear it,
denial.
yeah,
It's
it does.
denial.
Yeah.
I was trying to finish the record. I was stranded in LA. We hadn't got what I thought was a single, and when I finally got around to Missing You,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
it was about, I ain't missing you. I'm gonna get this done. Don't worry about it. And I'm talking to myself really. It's like a man in denial trying to get through a situation by denying what's going on.
Yeah, and
That's
you can hear that. You can
well, that's
absolutely hear
I mean,
that.
I get people still coming up saying, "Were you really missing her or not? Why didn't you
Oh
tell me?"
gosh.
You're missing the whole point of the song. But yeah, there was three women that were key in that song, and they had a huge influence on my life.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think the beauty of you as an artist is John Waite is still making great, incredible music. We'll
Thank you.
go, we'll skip over, Bad English, which was highly successful for you. Number 2 single with Forget Me Not. Number 1 with When I See You Smile. A very, we'll touch on it quickly, a very probably time in music where corporation were taking over. Everything was a machine at that time.
Yeah,
1987, 88, 89. There was a big, the big machine. And you worked again with Jonathan, and just that Bad English record was just a great record. But definitely something I think for you as an artist. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but it seemed like it was a little uh, much of a machine, maybe for your
yeah, yeah.
sensibility.
A bit corporate, really.
A little corporate, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the band. I mean, I thought it was my job to throw a spanner in the works. I wanted to bring darker lyrics into it and darker melodies. And the Journey guys were very much about trying to write pop singles or ear candy, because that's really what people want to hear.
And
But I
that's
thought,
what music was then. I mean,
yeah,
at that time, there was no way of escaping that and getting on the radio, because radio
yeah.
was a corporate machine, and
Well,
record labels,
Aerosmith,
Yep,
Whitesnake, all the bands were looking
absolutely,
for that. But I
absolutely.
thought things like Forget Me Not were powerful because they were really, that was based on the Anne Rice books,
Yeah,
vampires.
yeah.
I would
Very
come in,
passionate, very
yeah, yeah.
passionate.
But Forget Me Not,
Yeah,
what a nice title for a rock song. It's
yeah.
like it's got this weird kind of 16th, 17th century twisted thing going on, and it's about reincarnation anyway. But that's what my job was. I thought I was going to come into this thing that was like almost Journey, almost the Babies, and I was going to like really sort of hold it back a little and make the melodies interesting. Like I didn't want it just to be I love you, you don't love me. You know, oh, what's wrong with my life? It's
Right,
like,
right,
no,
right.
get the fuck out. I wanted to bring something really uh give people something to chew on.
Yeah, you wanted to John Waite it up.
Yeah,
You
I
wanted
did.
to John Waite it up.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. All right. So let's talk about John Waite now, because I love what you've been doing since, I guess it was 2014 when we got Wooden Heart, the first acoustic, and the whole anthology now is coming out,
yeah,
volumes 1, 2, and 3.
yeah.
So how do you take some songs that are big and orchestral, and you strip them all the way down? You said that you have always had that love for the acoustic sensibilities. You've
Yeah,
loved that. But
yeah.
that's a really brave thing to do when you strip everything down, especially when you're doing the acoustic tour. You were out doing the acoustic tour. I saw you in New York City doing it. It was fantastic.
Thank
But
you.
you're there and you're basically naked is what you are when you do that.
Well, that's, I mean, I love that. If it wasn't a challenge, I don't really want to do it. I've done everything else I could. I hit the ground running as a kid, as a musician, and I've played all over the world, and I've made a lot of records. And the stuff that is a challenge for me as a singer, whether it's true or not, authentic is the key word here. If it's authentic, it's it's enough. That's cool. And to strip something down like Isn't It Time, that's an impossible song. That's got like a full rock band, a full orchestra, a brass section.
The girls, everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 African-American girls singing back. And I thought, what happens if I sing that, you know? And it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I mean, it's like, there's just, if you can, that interests me. I don't like auto-tune. I don't like any kind of processed vocals. I hate big production. I always love the true thing, you know. I love playing live because of that. But it was a labor of love, you know. I knew I could do it. My voice is in good shape, and I
Yeah,
just don't seem to
absolutely.
be losing any chops. So it's just
Absolutely.
having fun, you know. I mean, in the end, music is fun. It's like sex, right? Sex is fun, and it should always be looked at like it's fun. And music, even though it's challenging and so
I'm
sexual.
rarely speechless right now, but yeah, I'm a little speechless right now because I'm thinking, am I having a sex talk with John Waite? No,
No. No, hang on.
we're taking the off ramp. But no,
Yeah,
you're
they're
right.
fun.
You're right.
Next
It
exit, baby.
it
But
should be an enjoy. What you're saying is it
yeah.
should be an enjoyable experience.
Well, I think
Absolutely.
I think it's just that's, you know, we don't do it because it hurts. I mean, you don't do it, you don't make music because it's, you know, even if it's a really dark message. I mean, yesterday I cut Dylan's song in the studio. It's an extremely dark song. And I loved every minute of it. I mean, it's like being in the truth, being in the light, you
Yeah.
know, and that counts.
Yeah.
But as far as the acoustic stuff goes, we hope to go out still playing Wooden Heart dates
Yay.
in the middle of all this electric. We're still doing full band dates.
Yeah, that's
And
fantastic. And you guys have a new single too, Not Dark Yet, which is absolutely just beautiful. I mean, it's one of those
thank
songs that
you.
you listen to and you can't stop listening to it. It's just absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And on this collection, and everybody can get the anthology, and you can kind of catch up on your Wooden Heart volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3. So talk to me before we exit, because I want to talk a little bit about Not Dark Yet.
Well, it's a Dylan song. The pandemic had got me housebound, and I was in the studio trying to make some electric music, and I just couldn't find the heart of it. I couldn't relate to what was going on. I spent such a lot of time on a couple of songs, and I was gonna quit, and I thought, well, don't leave empty-handed. You know, all these great musicians, and you got this great studio. It's this studio I go to called the Doghouse, and I decided to cut a couple of songs. You know,
Yeah, this version
and
is so great. It's so
thank you,
incredible. It's
thank
just
you.
it's stunning.
Thanks very much. Yeah, but it's a heavy song. And it's very much Bob. It's like one of the most profound songs he's written. If you can even say that about Dylan, I mean, you can't judge anything he's done, and I wouldn't in a moment try and speak for Bob. But it had such a profound effect on me when I heard it the first time. It was such a dangerous song, such a really honest. It was like looking in the mirror, and it was just such a beautiful song, so well written too. I mean, nobody saw that coming.
Yeah.
It was that good. And 15 years later, whatever, I decided I would cut it, and that opened the door to volume 3 of of Wooden Heart, and I cut an acoustic song, and I'm an English folk song, and I've written a couple of songs that we've cut that are already acoustic, plus a couple of giant electric songs. So I have no idea what the future holds.
Wow.
I might put them out on the same record just to mess with people, but I'd like to think that the acoustic thing is what it is now, and it's a statement, and we're going to perform that. But I'm moving into somewhere else. I'm going to keep it sort of electric. Even the acoustic stuff now will be electric.
I love it. I love it. John Waite, I have to tell you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for the years of musical enjoyment that you have given me. You have changed my life. And I'm going to go listen to a baby's record right now. I think I'm going to put on anthology and just get my baby's fix. But thank you so much. It has been such an honor and a privilege, and I can't wait to come out to this show. I'm so looking forward to it. I haven't been out to many shows this year, so I will be in the audience for this one.
Absolutely. Be sure to say hello, and thanks for all the support. It's been great. Thank you.
DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Karis Lock Company, your full-service locksmith, and Dover Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on Route 46 in Rockaway. Online at doverdodge.com.